So, the final part of our short discussion. Maybe this video will be put together as one piece or maybe in 3 different pieces. So it could be separate in that way. So here's the crunch time. We want to separate and notice what is what. Things that happens in the brain. Can we separate and clearly distinguish what is thought, what is when I am using the brain, the faculty of the brain, the apparatus, the tool, the equipment of the brain that I have rented from my factory. Think that you're a factory, you have purchased all these pieces, kidney, liver, eyes, ears, intestines, brain. They all are supposed to be doing something. So you can't be saying that any one of these equipment that you've purchased to create this factory is you. It's the whole factory. So where is the whole factory? Where's the boss of the factory? Where's the owner of that factory? That's what we want to try to find out, because mostly are duped to think the owner is the thought that appears in the head. And I want to examine something with you and help you to see what I want you to see. The brain has the capability of helping you to do certain functions. At the same time, if it's not helping you, in other words, if you're not using that equipment of your factory, the brain, if you're not using it, it on its own can have and continues and does all the time create certain products. It continuously produces what it's designed to produce, which is thought. This equipment, the brain that you bought, added to your factory to use to do whatever it is that you're supposed to accomplish in this life, constantly does on its own use its ability, makes thoughts. You also, because you're the owner of the factory, you're owner of this brain, you also use the brain for your usage. Like you want to calculate something, learn something, figure out something, design something, produce something, accomplish something. That's what you use the apparatus, the equipment, to create what it is that you want to create, that you think it will be useful to you, to what you want to accomplish. That's when you use the apparatus, the equipment, the tool of the brain that you have added to the collective tools, things that has made this factory, the you, the me. Now, when you are using this brain's ability, let's say in something simple, since I'm not going to be using this example for the religious purposes, I'm using it because most people in the world have used the apparatus of the brain to communicate with their God or whatever they believe, or let's call it that so it'll be easy, simple to deliver. My intention is not talking about religion is good or bad, or there is God or there is no God, none of that. Just one, because everybody has had that experience, I'm trying to use that to deliver what I want to say. So let's say when you want to, one of the things that you do with the brain, one of the uses that you have for the brain is when you want to do something with it. So you grab onto the ability of the brain and you do something with it. In this particular example, let's say you're going to be talking to God. You're praying, I want this, I want that, give me health, or give me success, give me, I don't know, whatever it is, that girl you want to get to know. You're praying, or, help my father, help my mother, and I hope all of them will be healthy and all. You're doing this praying, yeah? While you're having this communication, this praying, it's you using the brain to do something with it, to use its abilities to create something, to do something with it, which in this case is to talk to God, communicate, utter words. While you're doing that, which is you using the brain to do something with it, there is a watcher, observer, that is observing what you're doing. Just imagine right now you're talking to God, or you're trying to design something, or you're praying something, and while you're doing, you're aware that you are talking to God. You're aware that you are using abilities to have a communication or do whatever it is that you're engaged in doing. You're witness to this conversation with God, right? So you using the equipment of brain to do this communication, and then there is a watcher, a observer, a witness to this happening. There is an awareness to this communication happening with God that you're doing. That awareness is you. The observer, your witness to what's being done. That's you. When you're not using the brain is doing its own thing, which its specialty is to make thoughts. Because it has no values or understand any kind of a certain core principles or any certain way of value system, it conjures up whatever thought it can get a hold of, like whatever information that is out there floating around about anything in this world that's possibly has come across to your knowledge and form part of your consciousness, your knowledge, your know-how, through books or videos or cinema or publications or discussions on television, radio, or speakers, or school, or books, whatever it is. Anything, any products, any hypothesis, any lifestyle, all kind of lifestyles about anything, animals, humans, all that information is here, and brain grabs onto any of that and makes thoughts. Some of them based on whatever it simply conjures up, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day, which is all unbeknown to you. You're oblivious to them. It does its own thing. You didn't request these thoughts to be created, produced at all. You don't even know about it. It just pops up, does its own thing. And most of the day, you're not even aware of it. You're doing your own thing. But when the brain is creating intrusive thoughts, while we have explained, and the psychologists and psychotherapists and scientists have explained about the malfunction of the signaling system in the brain, such as caudate nucleus and striatum, and all the combination of the communication between the orbital frontal cortex and all the other parts of the midbrain and so on, or stem brain, all of that, we've discussed that, and it's been discussed, scientifically proven that there's a malfunction that happens. And because of that, then OCD and intrusive thoughts are created unbeknown to you. You're oblivious to it, but it's created by the brain through the negative thoughts and anxiety and all that. We don't go deep into the roots of it, but due to these malfunctionings, intrusive thoughts linger and constantly loop in there. While intrusive thoughts are created by every single person on this earth, but when there is no malfunction, it comes in, you notice it, and then you go about your business, because automatically caudate nucleus shuts it down and you go about your business. But when there's a malfunction, this intrusive thought loops in there. And then you not knowing that this intrusive thought is not you, has nothing to do with you, this is not the me, you think the intrusive thought that the brain has created and popped up in your head, the images, the thought, the suggestion, is you. And we are here trying to prove to you that that has nothing to do with you. Intrusive thought is a production of the brain, that it's using its own ability to produce things that it's even not known to you, that you're oblivious to its production, to this activity, because it is not you who is using the brain's ability to create something, develop something, calculate something, as we talked about. It is the brain using its own capabilities and abilities, and through the malfunction is creating intrusive thought that is lingering, while intrusive thoughts are created in every human being's brain, but it's momentarily. But when the brain actually creates the intrusive thoughts, which you're oblivious to, it's not of your wanting or designing or know-how or knowledge, but it's created, there is an awareness that runs to you and says, hey, there is an intrusive thought. You become aware of the existence of the intrusive thought. The intrusive thought itself had nothing to do with you creating it, because the brain created it, because it has a capability of creating thoughts. Brain is a thought manufacturing component. When it's using its own ability and this component creates thoughts that are intrusive, something makes you aware of the creation of the intrusive thought. Something runs to you and says, hey, there's an intrusive thought. Makes you aware, alarms you. That awareness is that witness again, that observer, which was the one that was observing you when you were using the brain talking to God. That observer, that awareness, that you're aware of what you're doing with the brain when you're talking to God, or that you become aware of that the intrusive thought has popped up and is in existence, is in operation, that awareness is you. Not the intrusive thoughts. Not when you're using the brain to do something with it. Only the witness that is witnessing to all these things happening, whether you're using the brain or the brain itself is creating thoughts, intrusive thoughts and whatnot, that awareness is you. So you're never intrusive thoughts, because intrusive thoughts is the production and the work of the brain itself, not your work when you're using the brain. It's the brain using itself and producing these, and you knowing that you're the awareness, not the intrusive thoughts, should set you free and separate you from the brain and brain's production and thoughts, and knowing that you're never thoughts. Thoughts are not you, you're not the brain, brain is not you, so you can never be intrusive thoughts, whether it's pedophilia, it's harm OCD, it's HOCD, homosexual OCD, any kind of OCD or any kind of intrusive thought, that is thought done by the brain, not by you. You're the awareness that becomes aware of the existence of intrusive thought, not that you are the intrusive thoughts. It's not implying to you, it cannot be implied to you, it's unrelated to you, it's irrelevant to you, it's meaningless to you, because you are only using the brain to do things that has to do with the values that you approve of, your core principles, your gatekeeper based on the meaningful values that you have, and you gauge all these intrusive thoughts against the gatekeeper, your core principle values, your wise advocates, and whatever it doesn't measure up, you're supposed to throw it out and diss it and ignore it, and to know that it's irrelevant to you, meaningless to you, and go on about your business. And that's how you know where you are, who you are, and what is what in the brain and its productions, and free yourself to have freedom of mind and freedom of thoughts and freedom of your sanity back. I'll talk to you soon.